Guys, Liverpool Aston Villa on Saturday night. 6 defeats in 7. We've got to win this one. How many times have I said that? We have to win this game. A big morale boosting win is overdue. It's needed more than ever. This is officially our worst form in my lifetime. 100 odd years. And we need to pick it up, man. But last night, I mean, you've seen the fan cams. Myself, Mario and Greg weren't happy at all with what we saw last night. And that comes from, again, a very poor team selection. So the team selection on Saturday has to be 10 times better than that. And I guess if you beat Aston Villa, if you beat Real Madrid, then maybe fans can say, well, listen, maybe it wasn't the worst idea putting that team out against Crystal Palace in the Cup. But unless that happens, no one will be saying that. So smash a like button, get your comments in. What team do you want to see Arne Slot put out on Saturday? As you can see, it's Halloween, so it's a scary time for Liverpool right now. That's why you see the Halloween decorations in the studio. Very scary to be a Liverpool fan right now. Aston Villa themselves are level on points with Liverpool in the Premier League right now, both on 15. 4 wins in a row in the Premier League for Aston Villa, which is a big turnaround considering the start of the season that they had. 4 defeats in a row for Liverpool. So the contrasting form going into this game could not be more obvious when it comes to Liverpool and Villa. 7th versus 8th in the Prem. If Liverpool win this, it's up to 18 points, which depending on other results can, maybe have you jump up a few spaces in the table. But with Arsenal in the form that they're in, even Bournemouth, even Sunderland have got 3 wins in 4 at the minute, and United have got 4 wins in 5. So in terms of form, we are the most out of form team in the Prem alongside Nottingham Forest and Fulham, who have also lost their last 4 in the league. So it's time to switch it up, turn it around. How do we do that? Well, we're playing against a team who've only scored 9 goals in the Premier League this season. They've conceded 8. Compare that to Liverpool, 16 scored, 14 conceded. Very similar goal difference, 2 against 1. And if you look at Villa in terms of, the players, that they're just not, or they have been recently, but in the start of the season, they just were nowhere to be seen. They lost, as we know, some big games in the Prem at home to Palace. We've seen them lose away at Brentford. They've drawn away to Sunderland. But as I said, more recently, they've picked up a big win at home to Fulham, at home to Burnley, away at Tottenham, which was massive for them. There was a big slump in that game against Go Ahead Eagles, but then they have just beaten Man City. So naturally, they will be on a big high from that win. But this one, again, 2 weeks in a row, it's an 8 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. It didn't work for Liverpool last week. Let's hope this time they've got enough fire in them. The fans will have been out enjoying themselves all day in the pubs. Let's hope and pray that the atmosphere is at rocket levels on Saturday night. I'll be doing a watch along with Doyle, so if you want to see us, then make sure you watch that watch along. We'll be going live for 7:45 on Saturday. But let's get into some kind of lineup prediction. Alisson still is out for this one. Obviously, tomorrow is the press conference. We'll hear from Arne Slot, and he'll give us a bit more of an injury update, and I'll do a press conference reaction video to that tomorrow. But in goal, I guess you have to say Mamadashvili. I guess you have to say that. I guess at right back, you go back to Connor Bradley. I guess it's Virgil, Konate and Robertson. I still think, Kirkes shouldn't really be starting at least big Premier League games in which we need to win them. We need to win every game. But right now, I go back to what our defence was last season pretty much with Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. Massive game, obviously, again for Mamadashvili. And then in the midfield, Dominic Szoboszlai is the first name on the team sheet for me at the minute, so he gets into the team by default because of his, passion and desire that he showed this season, which no one else has really matched him with. I'll go Curtis Jones, and I'll go with Ryan Gravenberch, who I think should be coming back into the team. Alexis McAllister has fallen off a cliff. Last night he was giving the ball away so many times, and I think you leave him on the bench for this game, in all fairness. And then through the middle, I'll go Hugo Ekitike, I'll go Cody Gakpo, and I'd probably start Federico Chiesa in this game on the right, who did maybe only him and Rio can walk away from yesterday's game with any kind of pride. But yeah, I will go with Chiesa to start. I'll go Salah off the bench. Again, Isak, do we know if he's fit? We'll find out, I guess, in the press conference tomorrow. But off the bench, you could have a Mo Salah, you could have an Isak, you could have an Alexis McAllister. Kirkes could come off the bench to help if needed. So that's my lineup prediction. Let me know what yours is in the chat below. Score prediction. I think on DR Sports, I just said 1-0 to Liverpool. Yes, we obviously need a big morale boost and win. That goes without saying. But I'd love a clean sheet. I'd love a bit of control in this game. As I've just said, Aston Villa don't score bucket loads of goals, and they haven't this season. Only 9 in 9 games. So if we can shut them out, you'd like to think that there's enough firepower there for Liverpool to actually go and win the game. But we again must be dealing with the set pieces, with the crosses, with the long throws. You know Aston Villa are going to come and try and disrupt and make it really difficult for Liverpool to get into any kind of groove. So there's that to deal with. But can we deal with it? I guess is another question that maybe, I haven't got the answer to right now at the minute. So yeah, it's a massive game, and I think if Liverpool lose this one, with Real Madrid round the corner, and then obviously Manchester City away next Sunday. I mean, where do we go from here, Reds? We just need a win at this stage, just win. And then you can go back to the nice football where you're keeping clean sheets and all that stuff. It's just an absolute must win. And for Villa it is as well. They've got themselves 4 out of 5 in the Prem. They want to continue that run. And they're definitely going to come and try and spoil the party. But the invincibility that Anfield had last season is pretty much gone. I saw someone on Twitter this morning say Klopp turned us from doubters to believers, and now we've gone from believers to doubters again. Where do you guys stand with Arne Slot and his team selection, the tactics, the openness to talk about not only our tactics but other teams' tactics against Liverpool? What do you think of that? It'll be interesting to see what he says in his press conference tomorrow about that. But as things stand, Liverpool are in desperate need of a win in terms of morale and confidence. It has to be a time where Liverpool finally pull it out of the bag and get something from the game. And at home against Aston Villa, they have caused us headaches in the past. But I think if you're backing the team to win a game and get us out of this kind of rut of a lack of confidence and a lack of cohesion in the team, which is obviously one of the big reasons why Liverpool haven't been firing on all cylinders recently, due to those new players coming in. They need time to settle, obviously, but I think we're at that stage now. 9 games in, it's a quarter of the season, and Liverpool just need to go out and win this game by any means necessary. But is it too much to ask for a clean sheet as well as a win? Is it too much to ask for that with 14 goals conceded so far this season? You look at Arsenal, 3 goals conceded. Even Man United have conceded the same amount of as us, which is absolutely no barometer to stand by and be proud of. So just win the game, Liverpool. Get that morale boosting win before you go into having Trent back at Anfield on Tuesday night. I don't think there's any kind of more incentive to be ready for that game than to win this game on Saturday night against Aston Villa, which comes at a time where morale, confidence is totally on the floor. Arne Slot did go over and clap the Kop and the whole stadium last night, and he did get some love back. But I think if you don't win this game, and then maybe you don't win against Real Madrid, you don't win against Manchester City, then there's going to be absolutely uproar within the Liverpool fan base. Some serious questions asked. And things need to change, and we can start that change with a win against Aston Villa on Saturday. It has to be a win. A draw is no good. You just got to stop the rut. Don't lose 5 Premier League games in a row, and just make sure that you get out of there with all 3 points. And I think there's a big job on the hands for the fans on Saturday night, because yes, the players and the tactics will have to be spot on to win the game, but I think the atmosphere has got to be. There's no other option. The atmosphere has to be absolutely bouncing on Saturday night. It has to be. So we need to see that. We need to see a big reaction from the players and the manager. I don't want to hear about any kind of what other teams are doing, how they're trying to beat Liverpool in the press conference tomorrow. I want to see Arne Slot talking about himself, his own players, his own tactics, and we must turn it around. So if we ever needed a morale-boosting victory, then it has to be Saturday night. There is absolutely no excuse to not win this game, considering the situation that we're in and considering the massive quality that we've still got in this team. It's like we've bought all these players. The quality is quite clearly there, but now it's time to see them players step up to the plate and do something that we can be proud of as fans and get behind. So, listen, there's the situation, right? Liverpool must win this game. I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory because it's more the clean sheet that I would like to see more than anything else, if I'm honest. So, get the win. And then obviously we can preview the big game on Tuesday against Real Madrid. But just get this win first. Like I said, watch along from 7:45 on the Kop TV, myself and Doyle. And then, as you know, on Monday, the podcast will be back as it always is. And in that podcast, once more, we'll be previewing the biggest tie in European football, in my opinion, Liverpool versus Real Madrid. And then it's a massive Sunday next week. And then it's an international break. And I do not want to see any players on holiday, any staff on holiday, any managers on holiday. I don't want to see no suntans coming back all nice and glowing. No, 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 no. There is work to be done. Extra hours on the training pitch, extra hours in the tactics office, and just make sure we turn this around because it could get quite ugly. If it isn't already, it could get even uglier. But we have to stop the rut and score, keep a clean sheet, and just win this game, Reds. I'm going 1-0. What do you think in the chat? Line up predictions, please, in the chat, as well as score predictions. Smash that like button. Get your comments in. Subscribe to the Kop TV, as well as us doing the watch along on Saturday. Mario will be doing the fan cams outside the stadium as well. So we've got every base covered for you for Saturday night. So there's no better place to be than the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. But we're going to need that stand on Saturday to get a result. I hope we do. We need to win. Just do it, Liverpool. No messing around. Get it done. Take care.